In three, two. Good afternoon and welcome to the LGBTQ Real Estate Podcast, connecting LGBTQ homebuyers, sellers with real estate professionals sharing the best of their local community. It's a pleasure today to host Katie Pratt of San Francisco. Katie, I know you have a great love for working with the LGBTQ community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about some of the topics that you've sent over to me.
Yeah, great. So, for the audience and us involved as well, we keep it really simple, about 15 minutes. I know everyone's busy, you got things to do, but you did join us for this podcast to find out a little bit more about real estate in San Francisco. And most importantly, Katie Pratt, a realtor who can help you whether you're looking to find a new home, relocate to San Francisco, move across town. She can help you with anything. So let's get started. Katie, share with us a little bit about yourself, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, thank you. I grew up in the Deep South, and Deep South is Louisiana, and a rural part of Louisiana during the 80s and 90s, and was in a small liberal arts college in Arkansas, which was a great stepping stone to the next chapter of my life. But growing up there, I didn't see a lot of people who represented aspects of my identity or the life that I'm able to live freely, safely here in the Bay Area.
Hmm.
And back then, we didn't have access to social media. I didn't have access to cable. I didn't know what was possible. I didn't know communities like the one I live in now existed. So a lot of my time or a lot of my childhood, I grew up feeling different and othered and wanted to be, I wanted to be in a place that felt like home. So I'm very happy I found the Bay Area through actually a teaching program post college called Teach for America. And I was placed in Oakland, which is in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was a high school chemistry teacher for 4 years before I
Wow.
transitioned. Yeah, before I transitioned into, well, education curriculum design. We worked for college access programs. And from there, after the purchase of my first home with my then wife in Oakland, I became interested. I got the real estate bug. And having been an educator, I was interested in making the process more digestible, understandable to the greater community. And I saw the changes that were happening economically in San Francisco and the spillover into the East Bay. I saw where the puck was going essentially, and that's part of what sparked my interest in real estate. And just started taking classes out of interest and ultimately became a licensed realtor. And I could tell you a little bit more about that. But professionally now, I'm in the East Bay, though I represent clients all over the Bay Area, clients in San Francisco, the Peninsula. Anyone listening from outside the Bay Area um, would be interested in the geography and how well, just how expansive San Francisco Bay Area is. And I appreciate the diversity and community and culture that we get here. I know I rambled
Yeah.
a bit, but
Well, that's great. It's nice to know more about you myself. I didn't know you were once a teacher. That's awesome. And like you said, real estate is often education, sharing so much with your clients.
yeah, and there's always ways. I mean, there are definitely ordinances that change citywide, statewide, with the attempt of making housing more accessible to more people.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the challenge that real estate presents in that regard, having to know, having to be on top of these ordinances that, well, for the most part, are trying to make housing more accessible. I said that, but there are also ordinances that make home buying more difficult depending on where you're living because of city transfer taxes and point of sale ordinances. Um, but yes, we are educators, we are counselors, we are therapists, in this role.
Yeah, we all need a little therapy, right?
It's
Yeah,
definitely more of an emotional journey than most people expect.
yes. And I know you have a lot of LGBTQ clients. What is it about the LGBT community that you love working with them so much?
Well, it's my community, so
Yes.
I know people definitely want to, with this type of decision, trust the person they choose to guide them through it, right? So
Hmm.
there is an added layer of trust, knowing that maybe this is my opportunity for permanency, a permanent
Hmm.
place in my community, to buy a home. This might be my only opportunity to build wealth if my relationship with my family isn't representative of what we expect, um, and other. I guess a way to word this is like, I have represented people in my generation even who have been estranged from their families, and with that not given any type of financial support in the home buying process, and figuring out ways to, as community, co-own together or access home ownership is something I can guide them through, because I've thought about and experienced these challenges.
Yeah, it's so important. In our journeys, we all have experienced so much, whether it's embracing family, moving away from family. There are so many experiences that people have, and we can all share that. And that's the great thing about this podcast, because it really helps the LGBTQ community find a realtor, help them find home. And I know you love living in your community. Of course, we spoke about diversity. We spoke about the increased, ways that the local ordinances are helping with home ownership. But tell us a little bit about your community that you love living in it. For example, what are your favorite parts of where you live? For example, where you work, whether it may be the arts, dining, great coffee shops, museums, houses of worship. Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking that about where I live now. These businesses I would love to highlight and continue to support and give a plug on this podcast. So I live in Oakland right now, and I spend a lot of time in San Francisco. And over the past 16 years, some of the places I consider landmarks for our community, uh, some of them went, some of them still exist. Some of them are having sort of revivals, like Castro Theater. They're inviting a lot of really famous artists to come in. So that would be one of them this year. In
Hmm.
terms of smaller venues, one of my clients and friends owns Radically Fit, which is a queer gym in the East Bay that has group classes, is CrossFit style without the pressure of CrossFit metrics. And
Hmm.
they also support a ton of community events. In terms of cafes, new bars, there's Golden Ratio, which was just started co-owned by DJ Lady Ryan, who has been a fixture in the LGBTQ community in the East Bay and San Francisco. She's at the Valkyries games DJing when we have home games at the Chase Center. There are a plethora of cafes, restaurants. We're so lucky here in the Bay Area in terms of the types of food, the types of cuisine we have, and the quality of food. I know Oakland has gotten a few Michelin star restaurants, so that doesn't need to be my caliber for good quality food. Um, yeah, there's such a long list of of spots. I'm like, tell me a city and I'll tell you a place.
Well, that's a great opportunity for someone watching this. Reach out, be proactive, reach Katie. Her contact information is in there. She could tell you so much more that you want to know. Whether you know the Bay Area or just want to see it from a different lens, through Katie's experiences. And that gets us to our next question. Okay, so I know you work with a lot of diverse housing stock in your community. For example, single family homes, there may be townhouses, there may be condominiums, apartments. Tell us a little bit about the diverse housing stock in your area, not necessarily what's on sale now, but something that would really transcend time, which, how you work.
Yeah. To your point, I work with everyone, and it could mean a couple that's downsizing and looking for a condo or tenancy in common in San Francisco, Berkeley, Oakland. Someone who's a first-time home buyer who's trying to house hack and get into a multifamily property with multiple units so that they can qualify for more loan amount. So the lender in that case uses 75% of rental income and counts it as current income. Some people who have been priced out of single family can use multifamily as a way to enter the housing market.
Yes.
There is, and the tenancy in common, I want to circle back to that because there are a lot of state laws in California that I referenced earlier that are allowing for the subdivision of lots and also the addition of accessory dwelling units such that you could ultimately condoize or convert to a tenancy in common unit.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason this is favored by the states, well, the state and the cities, is because those tenancy in common units tend to be a more affordable price point, and it's also a style of communal living. The limitations of that in other states generally has to do with financing, and yeah, city familiarity or government familiarity, but here in California, we have several banking options for that type of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in terms of single family here in the Bay, we don't have a whole lot of new construction, but we have a lot of, I think we will have more new construction given some of the statewide ordinances that encourage housing development on existing lots or infill development.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is great that you mention all this because someone that may be a little intimidated by the home buying process, there are many different ways to buy a home, like you're stating, that many people don't know about. So, again, contact Katie, ask her, different ways that are coming up, different tenant laws, things of that sort that you're very familiar with. Um, yeah, that's great. That's great. And, that brings us to our next question. Like, for example, you know, people may be relocating for a job, whatever it may be, to the Bay Area. They may be relocating from, another part of California. They read things on, Google. But, from your point of view, um, we know San Francisco is so diverse, the Bay Area. But what should LGBTQ individuals and families that are relocating to your area, what should they know in your view?
It's difficult to put on the lenses, or the lens, I should say, of coming from out of state in the climate that we're in right now. I can't go back in time to think about what it was that was. I'm trying to say
Hmm.
I cannot remember outside of feeling like living in the Bay Area felt like a dream, that I had not overly romanticized this idea of community and acceptance.
So it's a diverse paradise if you think about it, right?
I mean, it's every city in the Bay has its pros and cons. I won't
Yes.
sugarcoat that. And I have a YouTube channel I wanted to say that called Living in the Bay Area, where I try and highlight specific things about each city. So you're coming in with these goggles. If you're expecting paradise, no city is paradise, but in terms of community and the events centered on community, um, it is paradise. And I I've lived in Louisiana, I lived in Texas. I lived in Arkansas. I've visited New York City, haven't spent significant time there, but I do believe, if folks are, there are a few places in the United States that are like the Bay Area in general, and there are some cities that have more dense populations of specific identities than other parts, right? So San Francisco is known for that. Oakland's known for that. Berkeley's known for that. But I wouldn't rule any place out because in general, compared to the other parts of the United States, we live in a very accepting, progressive part of the United States.
Yes, yes. Also very well educated. You have a ton of tech jobs. I mean, it's really a mecca for so much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
The artistic and musical communities haven't gone away. I know there's a lot of news about AI startups. It started with the .com bubble, then it was the app movement. Everyone had an app. Everyone was working on an app, and now everything in San Francisco proper is very AI startup driven. But there's still a thriving music and arts community.
Yes, of course. Well, that's great to know as well. And of course, Katie could show you around. She could share with you, if you're looking to get involved in the arts, if that's something important that's, on your checklist of where you live or where you want to live. Of course, Katie knows all about that as well. More than just Googling, you have a direct source to someone with a ton of knowledge, very kind person, great experience in real estate. So that leads us to our final question. When you're not helping people buy and sell homes, what do you like to do in your free time?
My limited free time right now, I'm taking drum lessons. I never took music
Oh,
lessons as a
cool.
kid. Yeah, yeah. So the point about music and really enjoying that. I mean, it's a very expressive activity. Um, Hang out with my friends. My friends are like my family, so I savor the time that I get to spend with them. Some of the places and parties maybe I mentioned, I'm there, and physically active. I go running. I go to the gym as often as possible. I lift weights.
Great,
That's it for now.
great, great. Well, that's exciting. I think we've wrapped everything up. This has been a great episode. I know someone that is watching this will want to reach out to you. I enjoyed the time and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for holding this space.
Oh, a pleasure. And we'll see you on YouTube.
See you on YouTube.
Okay,
Bye,
great.
Jeff.
And one more time, you have your own podcast. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so it's Heather and I run Living in the Bay Area. I started it back in 2020 when everything was shut down here, so that I could spread word about local spaces, pros and cons of living in specific cities in the Bay. As I said, the Bay Area is expansive. Most people are thinking, oh, just San Francisco, but plenty to talk about and plenty to explore here. So it's at Living in the Bay Area.
Great, great. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll search for your podcast and I'll include it in the link within this show on the YouTube show so people could easily click over to it.
That's
I'm sure
great.
you want to subscribe and hit the like button. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's on YouTube as well, so it's a YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Okay, bye bye for now.
Bye, Jeff.
Okay, bye.